Well, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or night, wherever you're listening to this, or wherever you see this, and whatever moment that this is guided towards you, let's say. All right, so I want to read something before we start this class, we could call it. All emotions are sacred, valuable in their context, and carry deep wisdom for us. I'll repeat that. All emotions are sacred, valuable in their context, and carry deep wisdom for us. And that is the truth. Now, it might not seem like it at the time, but with emotions, my experience with them is they always arise because they're teaching us something. They are here as messengers and teachers, and they invite us to embrace them. And I always speak about this with the emotions that I work with is there's a point in the journey where you're so intimate with that emotion, you're embracing it. And then you've felt the depths of the despair, you've felt the depths of the pain, you've felt the depths of the sorrow, you've felt the depths of the anger. And there's a point in that process where then that anger transforms, and then there's neutral energy. And maybe on the other side of that, there is euphoria, expansion. And this is the gift in every emotion. Once you're able to have that courage to sit with the emotion, to be with that emotion, to work through that emotion and feel it to intensity, there's a transmutation point, as I like to call it, where there's neutral energy, and then there's sometimes euphoria and bliss on the other side. And this is the power of this work. It's like you have to be able to hold yourself in those places and know that, as the alchemists always say, it too shall pass. It too shall pass. And the courage of embracing and looking the dragon in the eye, or looking that demon in the eye, that is the courage to face our emotions and be with our emotions. So, on that point, let's talk about real-time experiences in life. I feel so I can speak to myself. I feel that relationships are one of the greatest, let's say, initiators of emotions, right? When we get triggered by another, triggered by our family. So I think these are the situations that emotions can arise more commonly. And I'll just give you an example of how this might play out. Having a conversation with my partner, or she says something and it triggers something within me. And then instead of actually going into the trigger, I will remove myself from the room and just say to my partner, look, something is coming up for me right now. And I really feel that I need the space to be able to process this emotion before continuing our conversation. And, that respect from the other party is fantastic. And then I will go work with my emotion, and then I will return to the conversation or whatever it is at when my emotion is clear. Because basically in relationship, if there's an emotional trigger, then it could trigger another emotional reaction from this side. And then you have both people speaking from their emotional reactions. And then it turns into the domino effect of, arguments and whatever. So I just wanted to speak to that, maybe at work as well. You're working and the colleague says something, or something triggers you, or a situation triggers you. You can always just take yourself out of the situation, go to the toilet, go to somewhere. Maybe you have in your workplace, there is a silent area you can go to and just sit yourself there. And so basically, then we need a technique, right? We need a technique to work with our emotions. So I'm going to run through 3 techniques today. And the 3 that I'm going to run through is 3 that I use. So first we have just reading off my list here. First we have the EFT tapping. Then we have the shaking. Then we have breathwork and conscious witnessing. And then journaling. I'm just going to bring up that. But I wanted to just speak to that kind of in real time, how we would address our emotions, And if we're by ourselves, for example, as the emotion arises, that is the portal. That is the absolute portal. As the emotion is, the fire is hot, that is the moment that you can really be with it. And, if you're by yourself, you can want to use one of these techniques. Another one is just simple techniques, is closing down the eyes and starting to feel very deeply into your body and what is coming up for me, and using a journal to record that. But anyway, we're going to dive into the first technique. So this is called the emotional freedom technique. You might have heard of it before. And basically, the emotional freedom technique is using these acupressure points in our body. And what these acupressure points do is they stimulate a cleansing mechanism. These acupressure points have been identified through modalities like Chinese medicine, that it sends a vibratory impulse internally to shift the neural nets, and also work with we've talked about somatics in this community, work with the internal layering that the emotion or the neural net is connected to. So doing this process, you're sending a vibratory signal to your insides to release this emotion from the body. And, we can talk about neurology, or we know that neurons that fire together wire together. And basically, what we are doing is basically, when we get triggered or when we are facing emotions, if we do the EFT technique, we can change the wiring of the response pattern, avoidance, or self-internalizing that emotion and turning it into something more dangerous than what it actually is, and or burying it. And that's the most common thing. We bury our emotions. And then there is this unconscious, let's say, there is this layer around our heart that we can't access. There's a layer, something that is stealing our joy without us not even knowing about it. So this technique, the EFT, in a short word, in a small summary, is changing our neural functioning, and it's sending a vibratory impulse internally. And these spots have been specially recognized as working with an internal system where it releases, it's like a flushing mechanism, these special points. Now, the way I do EFT, I've actually learned from Sarah Longoria, and she does a different method and tells how's it done. So what she does is she will speak exactly, authentically, rawly at how you are feeling in that moment. And again, the key is, if you can get in the initial moments of the trigger or the emotional reaction, that is where the gold is. The trigger is where the gold is. So I will say, I got angry. I got angry while through how someone was treated me, right? So I will remove myself from the room, and I will start tapping. And we'll do one together. Actually, what I'll do is I'll share my screen. I'll share my tapping points with you. Um, Here we go. So you'll see that now. So you'll see that now. All right. So these are the tapping points. So someone has triggered me. I'm angry. And the process is I am going to first tap on how I'm absolutely feeling in that moment and say it absolutely authentically. And if I'm fucked off by someone, excuse the French, then that's true. I'm going to speak that out, because this is an important process. Is you have to speak it as it is and how as you're feeling in that moment to disengage that neural reaction. And then you have a break and you hold yourself, and then you can start reprogramming um, afterwards. So we're just going to go through a tapping now. So the tapping points: top of the head, eyebrow, side of eyebrow, underneath the eye, underneath the nose, chin, collarbone, underneath arm. And for me, I always tap on my right side and with my right hand. And that's just what I do. And I'd probably recommend that. And so I always use my left hand for my under my arm. And these points are exact, well, approximate, but right side. So we'll begin. Um, I've been triggered. My emotional reaction is anger. I'm so angry right now. I'm so angry right now. I'm so angry right now. I can't believe that they did this to me. I can't believe that they did this to me. They don't even respect me. They don't even fucking 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 respect me. I've been so good to them. I've been so good to them. I've been so good to them. How could they do this to me? How could they do this to me? How could they do this to me? I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Oh, I'm so furious. I'm so furious. So that energy starts to move out. And if you need to keep tapping about this situation or whatever it is, you keep tapping until you meet this neutral point in your energy. And once you reach that neutral point, you just start holding yourself for a few moments like this. Holding yourself, giving yourself a warm hug. And then you start uh, reprogramming now. So you can, once you've released that emotional reaction, you can start to reprogram. And it could be like things like, I am worthy. I am so worthy. I'm so worthy. I'm so worthy. I'm so worthy. I'm learning to become more fluid with my emotions. I know I am strong. I know I am strong. There are situations in my life that cause me previously to have anger responses. But now, as I work with this anger, as I work with this anger, and I begin to feel it, I can change my response patterns. I can be more centered and balanced. Not to push the emotions away, not to push the emotions away, not to push the emotions away, but rather embrace them. I'm building my emotional capacity. I'm building my emotional capacity. I'm building my emotional capacity. I'm strong. I'm wise. I'm beautiful. And maybe in the future, I can have situations where my anger is not triggered, and be around people that see me and understand me and love me, to see the value that I bring to life. So that's one example of a tapping sequence. And I feel the best way moving forward is I will, if you're really interested, message me on school, message me on here, and comment on below. Whatever you need to do, get in contact with me, and I would recommend Dr. Yates tapping. And the more that you do this, the more you'll understand the process. And it's a tool, it's a technique to start changing your neural chemistry, your neurons that fire together wire together, so you start changing your reactions in life. All right, so that's number one. That's technique number one. So technique number two, we're going to do some shaking. So I'm going to put some drums on. Drums. There we are, dramatic drum. All right, see what this sounds like. All right, just give me a moment as I prepare myself for this share sound. Well, hopefully I'm on big here, but so I hope the video to audio is good. Let me just turn this down a little bit. So I normally like to put on some type of drumming music to this. Helps a lot. All right. So we're going to do some shaking. So basically, you know, animals when they are in the wild and they maybe escape from an attack or a predator, what do they do straight away? They start shaking. They move the emotion. They move the emotion of the anxiety and the fear. So you get triggered in life, or you're feeling an emotion, and maybe you're too much in the mental realms and you really want to access what that emotion is teaching you. So you can just start shaking. Shake. And just start also as you shake, just move. That energy wants to move through the body. It might want to move through the mouth, through the vocal expression. Just have to start shaking. Maybe you need to do a few to inhale. So it's like you inhale as you come up, exhale, you're letting it go. But shaking around, moving the body, shaking. You wonder why in Africa they're just full of joy and they're full of life, because they dance, they move, they somatically move the body and move the emotions through the body. This is such an important practice. Normally, sometimes I might play some more activating music, but this is where you can really release emotions. And then if a really intense emotion is coming up, you're shaking, then just pause. And this is called the warrior's breath. So we're building the energy so it's an inhale, reaching down low, inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nostrils. I'm just going to show you how low I'm reaching in. So this is really a breath about gathering the energy and pushing it out of the body. And that's really important in between when you're processing the emotion. You just need a moment to find yourself and understand what's going on. And maybe the mental energy, because in the emotional process, the mental energy is so strong, it wants to make so many thoughts. But as soon as you shake it out and move the body, there is a clarity, there's an openness, there's a feeling of joy. And this is somatics. This is a part of somatics, that releasing of energy from the body, releasing energy that no longer serves you. So just do some shaking. So that's the second technique. And sometimes, obviously, in life, a little bit more challenging, to remove yourself from a situation and go shake. But really, when you're at home, and sometimes that's when emotions come up the most, I'll find myself doing some shaking. And this is why also I'm a big I'm an ecstatic dance DJ, and I also love ecstatic dance too, because especially around the full moon, all the emotions rise. And if you get a good dance in, and a conscious dance like that, you can really somatically move emotions from your body. And you'll be very surprised how many emotions are stored in the body. And then as you start to move these emotions, your body starts to open up more. You feel more depth, and your posture changes, and feels good. Trust me, the more that you do the shaking, the more that you feel better, and there will be free flow in the body. So that's shaking. So what technique do we have left? Well, my hair's it's all part of it. So the next technique is a rapid breathing technique. So we did this in the mindfulness class. So it's 2 inhales, and we try to do this. We do our best. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. So 2 quick inhales through the nostrils. And we try to direct the inhales to the belly, to the chest, and then out through the mouth. And sometimes we can use a hand. So it's so basically, you get triggered, you're in the mind, you feel just so anxious, you feel so angry, and things are going on. Come straight to your breath. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nostrils. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale through the mouth. So that's going to help you to bring the energy and the reaction energy from the mind, and it's just going to balance it around your body. Then what you can do is you start doing your belly breathing. So left hand on belly, inhale through the nostril, exhale through the mouth. This is a slow breath. The other breath is an activating breath to move the energy. As you inhale, belly expands. As you exhale, belly contracts. As you feel your emotions starting to reach a neutrality point, just again, closing down the eyes and just taking a moment to witness and observe what's going on in your body. I felt so angry in that moment. I felt so angry. I felt so ashamed. I felt so not worthy. So you acknowledge the emotion, just acknowledge it. And if it does appear somewhere in your body, maybe it's something in your belly, then putting your hand to your belly and just slowly rubbing that area, or maybe on your shoulder, you can feel this, wow, this little soft massage. And just speak out the emotion, be with what it is and continue to feel it. Just continue to feel it. And again, if it takes you into a portal, just again start the activating breath. And then balance with the belly breathing. To show you. Beautiful. And then just again, witnessing, closing down the eyes, just witnessing, feeling, how's this feeling in my body? What emotion is arising? And then after all these techniques, I'm a big journaler. So I will take out my journal and I will journal what I was feeling, what the situation was. And maybe you can do this at the end of your day, if that's your process. And that's it. Just journaling and then having that mental recognition of this, and maybe you start building this, this mental, I'll say recognition, or this kind of mental note you're taking. Okay, well, I worked with this emotion. I did a fantastic job. It triggers in this situation, and then what you can do is through your journaling, you start to recognize patterns. And the more that you work with those 1% patterns in your life, and you work with the emotion or whatever comes forth, the more you gain self-mastery. Because I really believe that life is always giving us everything we need. It's always giving us and creating the synchronicities, the opportunities, the um, coincidences for us to work with what needs to be worked with to become our greatest version of self. And that's why we say at the start, let me read it out again, that every emotion all emotions are sacred, valuable in their context, and carry deep wisdom for us. And that is the truth. The more that we work with them, the more that we invite them in, the more that we be with them, the more that we use these somatic techniques to process them, the better human we can become, the more advanced human we can become. Emotions are energy in motion. And, at the other end of this scale, as you process these more dense emotions, as I said, then it creates openings. It's beautiful openings. So then you can increase your capacity and tolerance to feel joy, to feel love, to feel hope, to feel ecstatic, to feel magic, to feel all the things. And then as you can uh, feel those things more, then you can begin to use that as a manifestation tool. A lot of them speak about uh, anything you want in your life, the language in which is, let's say, God or the quantum field understands is the language of emotion. So if you can sit and feel joy and happiness and peace and radiate that out, you're just going to get more of that in your life. And this is the importance of working with the denser emotions like anger, shame, whatever it is, unworthiness, that on the other end, it increases our capacity. Our capacity to hold those emotions opens up portals for our capacity to experience the other spectrum of emotions. You know, they're interlinked. So this is why this work is so important, and to release it from our bodies, because then our bodies can be free. And then we have this beautiful construct, or this beautiful of mind open, body open, heart open, spirit open, and we can just be truly joyous beings. And it's where the magic is. So, in the presence of the unicorn and Lady Morgana, thank you for being here with me. And this is definitely more of a, let's say, emotions are more of a feminine aspect. And, you know, we are all, in my view, we may appear as masculine or feminine through our physical form, and obviously through our genitals as well. But inside of us, there are both masculine and feminine energies. And this is, you know, in many texts, they talk about this blending of masculine and feminine energy inside of us. And we have to have an equal balance of both. Maybe a bit more skewed to based on what you are as, you know, your sex in terms of what your physical vessel is. But if you have balance of both, of yin and yang, of the opposites that come together in unity, then there is a deeper level of wholeness in your being that you are. You know, Shiva always longs to be with Shakti, and Shakti always longs to be with Shiva, and that union inside of us is truly what we're looking for. You know, even in romantic tales, the deep archetypal meaning is finding that union between your own masculine and feminine within yourself, and then there is fulfillment. Not to say I'm in a beautiful relationship and I love that connection with another, but if you build it within yourself first, then that's where longevity is. All right, guys, thanks for watching the replay. Wishing you a fantastic rest of day, afternoon, night, wherever it is you are in the world, or you see this. So hopefully you found value through what I've shared. These are some of the core techniques I use to move and transmute my emotions and activate that somatic release. So, and there are many more ways too, but these ways help me. All right, until next time, be well, do well, live well. All right.